Welcome to YouTube, Facebook, and to LinkedIn. I've been chatting a little bit over here on Instagram for a little bit. Today's conversation is going to be around the cusp of energy that we are on right now, and the reason that I moved into really talking about entrepreneurialism, creating businesses around your energy, and stepping into this new cross of the sleeping phoenix that's taking place. So as you guys join in, what I really want you to understand is that anybody on Instagram, I am going to definitely be sharing my screen today, and we're going to be going over quite a bit of information. So let's play with this, and I'm going to share the PowerPoint presentation that I created for the energy field of where we are, which is the cross of planning, and where we're moving to, which is the cross of the sleeping phoenix. And if any of you guys are on Instagram, I want you to know I'm sharing my screen on my other platforms. So if you have an opportunity to go over there at some point and check it out, that's great. You can definitely listen to me speak about it, and then we will move forward. So today I'm going to share a PowerPoint presentation that I created based off of the energy fields. So right at this moment, up until February of 2027, when the 41.5, Pluto highlights the 41.5. All right, Paula, sounds good. You can jump onto YouTube. The 41st gate is all about this newness, this new contraction, this new focusing in on energy so that we can move into a brand new experience. That's what the 41st gate does. The 41st takes us from the 41 up to the 30, 36 up to the 35. And 35 leads us to progress. So the reason that I want to chat about this is, unfortunately, most of the world doesn't really understand what's happening out there, and the conditioned mind is running rampant. All right, so let's just take a look at the cross of planning. So the cross of planning, the whole focus of the cross of planning was to create large business. The focus was to create large organizations. The focus was bargains, contracts, because that's really what the cross of planning is all about, is creating that bond. Who is going to produce? Who's going to be able to deliver the goods? So the cross of planning, the whole premise of it was take talent, take the skilled people and shift them into this energy field where they're locked into these large organizations. Because something else that's important is that once we get into pentas, so 9 people or less, once we get into pentas and once we are in large organizations, what happens is that our energy field as an individual no longer, quote unquote, matters, because all the mechanics want to do is bring us together in these groups to profit, to make money. And it's not bad. The only reason it could come across as bad is when there's no honoring of the individual inside the group. Okay. And honoring of the individual is really important. So the cross of planning, actually, the 42 allows us to see that we actually are moving through this growth phase. And at the moment, the cross of planning is all in the first line. So what we do is we actually move backwards. So when we move into the sleeping phoenix, we start off as the sixth line and then we move through. Okay. And again, something that I said at the very beginning is that any of us here right now at this moment, most likely we have been on many cusps of energy. And what I would encourage everyone to do is recognize the wisdom that's deep inside your cellular structure and operate from that space instead of the conditioned mind. The conditioned mind is very nasty, it is mentally defensive, and it wants to hold a position. It wants to hold a position. It wants to hold a belief system. It wants to hold an opinion and push that agenda. That's what the conditioned mind does. It pushes an agenda. And anybody that has the capacity to just sit back and witness, that's what's going on in our world right now. There's an agenda happening. I also see this as there's two energies, that those that are still in the cross of planning and deeply ingrained in that, and those that have actually already started to bring this wisdom and awareness of lifetimes of energy and moving it into the sleeping phoenix. One of the things that I love is that the cross of planning actually had the 61st gate in it. So the last 412 years actually had this hint of inner truth. It was our witness. Ra always said that. We need to witness. We need to witness ourselves interacting. And I may or may not have included this in some of my stuff, but the personality crystal actually does not ever enter the body. It sits right above the scalp. So it is the witness. And that is really what has been the forefront of our inner truth and having the capacity to witness. So now the cross of planning, it's coming to a close. We've come to this place where diversification, the plan was diversification. What's really interesting is that instead of being honored and growing in this diversification, what's happened is that the conditioned aspect of this reality has created a divisive energy versus a diversification energy. And in order for us to actually grow, it's to honor the diversification. So, Mimi Slays the World on YouTube. I just want to let you know that I'm doing a lot of stuff through my screen on the other platforms, just so that you're aware. And what's important to understand is that we are here to recognize the diversity, honor the diversity, period. It's not about this is right or wrong. It's recognizing that there is that diversity happening, and it's actually healthy for us. Anything that happened in the cross of planning, it was all designed to get us to now awaken into the sleeping phoenix. So we feel like we want to lash out. I can get caught in it too. We feel like we want to lash out and they are doing this to us or they are doing that. It was really just the energy that is taking place up until 2027. These large organizations really understand, and they can feel it. They can feel that they're losing, quote unquote, the control of the people, and they've used this the factual energy that happens through the cross of planning, and they've tried to truly manipulate us and manipulate our skills, manipulate all of that. And manipulation isn't a bad thing as long as you see it as really what the energy was supposed to do. Okay, so the cross of planning right now we're in delusion. The pattern is delusion, and we can see that. There is the divisive energy is creating a massive amount of delusion. And one of the things that is so fascinating to me is that the Cusp planning is really, truly pushing this augmented reality that, put on the Google glasses, put on the Microsoft glasses, do all of these things and live in a reality. Decentralized land or something like that is one of those spaces as well. You can go in, you can build your own reality. These businesses are making a lot of money by people spending money in this augmented reality. So it's really interesting to me to watch how they're doing this and keeping us in a delusional aspect and getting us to move further and further away from the God or the consciousness field that really truly is within us. So now I want to just shift over to the sleeping phoenix. And my plan is actually to go deep into this information so that you guys can actually feel that where we're heading and where we are right now, it's all designed. There's no good or bad. It's just you having the capacity to trust your inner authority and move through that inner authority versus letting the conditioned mind run the show. Now, one other thing I'm going to say is the Cusp planning had a lot of science in it. Everything was, trying to science base. But one of the books that fascinates me is that, lying with statistics, we can create any formula. Okay, we can create any formula at any time with any math that we want to and create an outcome that we want to. I know that makes you go, really? Yeah, we totally can. We can take any formula and have an outcome that we want it to be. And that's really what the Cusp planning has done. Again, not good or bad, but it's for us to see that facts are designed to be practiced and challenged. Okay? So now as we move over to the sleeping phoenix is this energy, as you see here. Hopefully you guys can see this. I know that my hillbilly internet sometimes cuts in and out. The integration of your own personal power, the integration of your own intuition is helping you manifest a life through wisdom. That's what now is going to be the underlying energy that's happening. So the pattern is going to go from delusion to wisdom. That's massive. Going from an augmented reality, a reality that was created for us based off of bargains, large organizations and governments, to an individual wisdom. That's huge. And that's why human design is exploding. And that's why spirituality is exploding. That's why people are standing up for their individual rights right now, because this is the energy that we're going to. Again, like I said, there's like this fork in the road of those that are believing still in the sleep or in the Cusp planning, and those that are moving into the sleeping phoenix. So the heart and soul of the sleeping phoenix is to get us to integrate back into that consciousness field and that knowing inside of us. The nature is going back to common sense. We haven't had common sense for a very long time. My husband works in an industry, the oil and gas industry, like it or hate it, doesn't matter to me. And like, he's been doing that for 25 years. And the common sense has just like evaporated and gone away. Now we're moving back to it. Because what the cross of planning did was said, let me run this delusion. Let me